You've probably heard it before, but being an author means having your own business. And even though it may be your passion, if you're somebody who wants to write books, make a few bucks, and get your name out there, you kind of have to see your author life as being a brand in business. Hello, my name is Jennifer Aline. I am a freelance writer, a mother of twin girls, and my debut novel, That Age, is coming out at the end of 2020 through Kindred Ink Press. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a few things I had no clue were so important when it comes to building your author brand. And I've been in this kind of writerly publishing world for about a decade, and I've learned a ton over this past decade. However, over the past year, probably since maybe August 2019 when I went to the Writer's Digest conference, and since being picked up by the small press I'm publishing with, I've learned a ton. And today we're going to share some of those things that you should kind of look into as you start to build your author brand. I will also mention that it is close to the end of April 2020 during the time of quarantine, and I'm wearing a sweater. And it's snowing outside. Yes, I live in Western New York, but come on. Back to the point of this video. I'm going to start off just by mentioning a couple things that right away, as a new author or an author jumping into the publishing world, you kind of should already know. If you don't know these things, you should probably take a step back and get to know these things before you move forward into the things that I've learned are important on top of these. Thing that you should definitely have and definitely know that you need to have right away is a website. Whether that be a blog related website, a website that just focuses on who you are, what you're writing, or who you are, your background in writing, your experiences, whatever. You need to have a go-to place that discusses you as a writer, you as an author. There you can put contacts if you have a P.O. box. Maybe you want people to reach out to you that way. If you have an email that you want people to specifically reach out to you, put it there. That is kind of your home base that you should have right off the bat. There doesn't need to be a ton on there. You can kind of build your website as you go and as you learn more and as your book gets closer to release. But a website is something you should definitely have. Most important point that you should kind of already know before you move into the following points are you should at least have 1 or 2 social media platforms out there. Now, since we are in the day of crazy social media, you need to really have at least one social media platform where your authorly presence is out there. You can have a personal Instagram or a personal Facebook, but you should have a more professional, writerly focused platform somewhere. That's where your fan base, your followers, those who enjoy your writing are going to seek you out and follow your adventure. And it also kind of puts your personality out there. For example, I have The Right Mama. I'll probably put it down here. The Right Mama on Instagram. That is where I focus on my writing, and I put some motherhood chaos in there just because. But that's kind of, it shows my personality. The stories, the highlights show who I am. The posts, they're all kind of in a similar lighting style. It's a much different vibe than my personal Instagram page. And that, The Right Mama, is where I want my followers, my fans, want to go and to follow me there. I'll have a Twitter. That's also something I like. I just started off a Facebook group, specifically Jennifer Aline, for those who are interested in following my writing journey. So they don't need to follow my personal page. They can follow that page. Those are just the 2 things that I really think that before you even jump into the other things that I'm going to discuss, you need to kind of focus on. If you don't have at least a website out there or some kind of go-to point, either a blog, website, something like your business card online. It kind of shows your credentials, what you're doing, who you are. And then at least 1 or 2 social media platforms. Okay, let's get into 5 things that I have learned over the past year-ish, maybe the past 6 months to a year, that are important when building your author brand. 1, you should probably, most likely, make a newsletter. I didn't realize how important newsletters were until, honestly, I jumped on AuthorTube. And every single author who has a great following on AuthorTube and with their books has a newsletter. And I know that email and newsletters are important. I just didn't think they were as important as they are. And it's true, if social media platforms were to crash, you have a backup list of your fans and your followers with your newsletter that you could always reach out to if you needed another point of contact. And that kind of, the newsletter followers are your VIP followers, the people who really believe in you, and they also get, sneak peeks through your newsletter. They get more information than other people. So really a newsletter, it is important. It's much more important than I thought. And you can make them, there's MailChimp is something that I use. You can connect it to your website or your blog. You can also just make a landing platform using MailChimp. And there's many, many others. I can list some others over here that you can use to build your newsletter. And some websites have newsletter creators right there on their website. The second part I'm going to discuss is bookstagrammers and booktubers. And the reason they're important, because they review books. There are so many bookstagrammers on Instagram. If you just put in the hashtag bookstagram, you will find all of these accounts with thousands of followers, tens of thousands of followers, with gorgeous visuals of books, just beautiful photography. And these people read. They read the crap out of books, and then they put their reviews on their bookstagram. And there are so many followers. Like I said, tens of whatevers of thousands of followers. And getting in touch with a bookstagrammer or a booktuber on YouTube, that will help your reach when it comes to your release. That will help get your reviews out there, get some interest, get followers. It's another marketing tool that you should use when building your brand as an author. So I would say follow some bookstagrammers, some booktubers, start writing down on a spreadsheet some of your favorites. And I suggest if they have an email in their profile, that being how you reach out to them. If they don't have an email, or if they say reach out through direct message, you can just DM them. But I would say make a professional email, send it out to them, and kind of explain who you are, what your book's about, and why they would be a good person to support you and make some posts. The third point I'm going to discuss has to do with advanced reader copies, or ARCs. I honestly had no clue what ARCs were until the last year or so. And ARCs are very important, again, when building your following, building your brand, building your authorly business. ARCs are advanced reader copies, which means that you find a group of people who have, again, a good following, or just a group of people who like to read. They get the book before it comes out, promising you they will put a review, an honest review, up on Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, on social media, whatever. That is what ARC readers do. And usually if you're, with a big five or a small press, they have a team of ARC readers already, but they usually like to build upon that team so there's more people. When you're self-published, you reach out, you have a little form, people can, kind of be interviewed to be an ARC reader. So making sure you have ARC readers, your book out there, gets your name out there, gets reviews out there before your release date, and the reviews are huge. Point I'm going to bring up has to do with endorsements. Now, this all makes me laugh because these are all reasons that I took my self-published book off the shelves. I didn't do any of these things. I didn't have a newsletter. I didn't have a legitimate website up. I did not have professional social media platforms for my writerly life. I didn't reach out to any bookstagrammers or booktubers. I didn't do any of these things. And I didn't even know what ARCs were. So these are all reasons, again, that I took my book off the shelf, the one I self-published in 2012. Endorsements. It's important for your business to have somebody else, whether they be a bestseller, whether they be somebody who's on USA Today, another writer who has a good following, to be able to give your book a few words of credit. Maybe you reach out to somebody if you have a connection. If not, just try to contact people, not like, Jodi Picoult or J.K. Rowling or Stephen King. Try to reach out to somebody who maybe isn't up there as much, you have a connection with. Some read your book and then give you a few quotes. Those are the quotes you can put on the front of your book, the back of your book, on your website. You can put quotes on your social media platforms as posts, because that will be huge for their following when it comes to opening your book and seeing the name of the other author, and your following, because they'll be like, oh, this other author said this about your book, and that will show interest. Number 5 we're going to talk about has to do with reveals. Reveals are big. It drags in your audience. It brings in some interest. And I never did reveals for my self-published book. It especially is important for your newsletter following. You want to do reveals of whether it's the release date reveal, the cover art reveal or sneak peek, or quotes that you're just kind of revealing from the book. You want to get some excitement and build interest in your story. And by making dates that you're going to reveal something important brings in interest and excitement. So doing a cover reveal, whether it's first for the newsletter following and then on your social media platform, or a live cover reveal or an unboxing of your book, all of those things build your following, build your brand, make you more of a professional person because you're setting a date, you're following through with it, and then people know that you will follow through with what you say. Throw in a random number 6, and this is something I'm right now looking into, merch. It's good because it gets your name out there, and whether it's a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a candle, merch that has, your book or a quote from your book on it. You don't want to just say, hey, buy my book and put it on a candle. Has something creative from your book on a product. It also helps out the other business that's making the product, and it helps out you and your business. I'm just throwing in that 6 little detail. A bunch of different points that help build your brand as an author. And if you're a beginner jumping into the publishing world, you may not have been as familiar with these last 5 or 6-ish that I discussed. I honestly didn't know a lot about those things until recently. And if you're interested in going deeper into these details, and I'm pretty sure as I dive deeper into them, I will make videos. Let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you want me to look further into and make videos for. I would love to really get deeper into these topics and add on to this list. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and I post every Friday. You can click the notification button so you get notified when I do post. So thank you guys very much. Stay creative and drink that coffee.